I've been using the same chat session all throughout this course, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new chat. Now, when you're coming up with story ideas or an outline for a story, sometimes it's nice to actually sit down with other writers and throw ideas around and kind of chew the fat with other writers, but that's not always possible to do. So ChatGPT is actually pretty good at coming up with rough outlines for stories, which you may or may not use in the form that they come out of ChatGPT, but it's all about stimulating creative ideas. So just to give you an example, we're just going to throw around some simple ideas, see what it comes with. Now, I have no idea what it's going to come back with, so we're just going to play around with it, see what it suggests, and maybe ask it to refine some ideas, which you can then, copy that text out into another document. You can use some of the advice that ChatGPT comes up with. You can combine ideas, or it may actually sort of stimulate your brain to think up alternative ideas which are better. Now, again, we're not using ChatGPT to write the actual story. I still think that has to come from the writer, the old-fashioned way, bum in seat, fingers on keyboard. But using an AI to help brainstorm and develop ideas is actually really useful, and I think that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with that. So here's our prompt. Can you come up with an example outline for an alien invasion story? Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so as far as outlines go, I mean, that's pretty generic, isn't it? So it's an introduction where we have the inciting incident, the invasion begins, resistance and survival, discovering the aliens' weaknesses, a final battle, and an epilogue. Now, you're not necessarily going to write an award-winning story just from that, but it's a start. So if you were wondering about how you might structure an alien invasion story, that's not bad. There's some good bits there. So let's zero in on just a few bits and let's just see how we can narrow this down. So the aliens show their power. The invasion begins and the aliens show their power. So can you suggest some examples how the aliens show their power? So a massive alien spaceship appears in the sky, dwarfing all human aircraft and technology. Aliens use advanced energy weapons that effortlessly destroy military bases and cities. Reminds me of Independence Day, though. The film, that is. Aliens demonstrate their superior technology by hacking into and taking control of human computer systems. Yeah, that sounds good. Aliens use their psychic abilities to influence and control human minds. Oh yeah, we're getting body snatcher vibes from that. The aliens reveal themselves to be much stronger, faster, and more durable than humans by easily overpowering any resistance fighters who stand in their way. Aliens show their ability to terraform or manipulate the environment, causing massive earthquakes, storms, and natural disasters. Well, that's kind of interesting. So you're getting an alien invasion story and then kind of merging it with a typical disaster story scenario. That could be fun. The aliens deploy robots or drones that are much more advanced than any human technology, easily gathering intelligence and carrying out targeted attacks. That's pretty cool. And aliens demonstrate their ability to manipulate time or space using teleportation or other advanced technology to travel instantaneously between locations. There's some quite interesting ideas there. Now you can narrow down into each of them further. So you could say, give me examples of alien energy weapons and things like that. We're not going to do that now, but that's an exercise you could do yourself. So let's pick another area. So humanity's attempts to fight back. So that sounds cool. We like a good battle. So can you suggest examples of humanity's attempt to fight back? So military resistance. So the military launches a full-scale attack on alien invaders using all available weapons and technology. You could just imagine the movie for that now. Yeah, lots of CGI. Guerrilla warfare. A group of resistance fighters uses hit-and-run tactics to disrupt the aliens' operations and infrastructures. That could be quite cool. So you could have a more kind of intimate small band of guerrilla fighters going in to try and disable the aliens. Cyber warfare, biological warfare, diplomacy. So human leaders attempt to negotiate a peaceful resolution. I mean, you could have that going on whilst you have a guerrilla team going in. It could be a nice interplay between trying to collaborate or negotiate and attack. That could be good. Espionage. Human spies attempt to infiltrate the aliens' ranks and gather intelligence. That's pretty cool. Psychological warfare. So humans attempt to use propaganda, misinformation, or other tactics to undermine the aliens' morale and cause them to turn on each other. That's pretty interesting. Or summoning help. So humans try to reach out to other civilizations or beings, either from Earth or beyond. I could kind of imagine that in a kind of a Star Trek scenario, couldn't you? So we have an alien invasion coming to Earth, and then we call on the Vulcans to come and help, or maybe the Klingons. That'd be quite cool. In just 3 queries so far, we've asked it for a very simple outline, which admittedly was quite generic, but it's given us some food for thought. Then just in a couple of areas, we've narrowed down. So we've asked it, how might the aliens attack? Some quite nice ideas there. You could drill down further, or that may have already stimulated your imagination to come up with other scenarios. And we've asked it for some, examples of humanity's attempts to fight back, and there's some quite good ideas there. And you could use a combination. I think, on one hand, you've got diplomacy going on whilst a larger attack. Try and catch the aliens off guard whilst you attack in another way. I mean, that could be quite cool. So let's just do one more. So in the epilogue here, it says the world is changed forever. Ooh, I wonder what that means there. So can you give some examples where the world is changed forever at the end of the story? So rebuilding, the surviving humans must work to rebuild their cities, infrastructure and society. Okay, unity, the invasion brings people together, causing previously divided factions to put aside their differences and work towards a common goal. That's going to be quite a good one, because there's that saying that nothing brings people together like a common enemy. Well, that could actually play out at the end of the story, where you have different countries who used to be enemies actually coming together. Obviously, huge loss of life. New leadership. So the invasion has caused a major shift in leadership. Cultural changes. The invasion has caused a shift in cultural attitudes and values of surviving humans, often reflecting the trauma and devastation they've experienced. Okay. Alien technology. So the aliens' advanced technology has been left behind, allowing humans to study it and potentially use it for their own purposes. I mean, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? If you had a downed alien spaceship, you're going to investigate it and learn from it. Fear of future invasions. So the invasion has left humans with a lingering fear of future alien attack, prompting them to take steps to prepare for such a possibility. I mean, I'm getting, just in my mind now, I'm getting like an entire series coming to mind. And changes to the planet. The invasion may have left behind significant environmental damage or changes to the planet, such as the introduction of alien flora or fauna. That could be quite interesting. So some of the remnants of the aliens start to affect the planet, either in a good way or a bad way. So these are some simple examples of how you can use ChatGPT as a writer's assistant. Now, as I stated at the beginning of the course, if a whole book was written by ChatGPT, would I be interested in reading it? Probably not, because one of the beauties of fiction and non-fiction as well as having an engaging story or learning some interesting facts, you're also spending time within the mind of the writer. And I don't personally think a computer's ever going to replace that. It's kind of being human is what makes us good at writing, because you're spending time in someone else's mind. And I don't think that's ever going to change. And me personally, I have no intention of using ChatGPT to write the actual book, but using it as a way of brainstorming ideas, especially if you haven't got anyone else around that you can ask these questions to, it's actually really useful. I mean, just this previous example we've done about the alien invasion story. Now, the outline was incredibly generic that it came up with to start with, but just by digging into some of those different areas, it's actually come up with some quite good ideas. Now, you could keep on drilling into this as long as you want, and then copy the text out, put it into documents, and then use that as a basis for coming up for the actual plot. So there's a lot of possibilities here, and I think instead of being afraid of these new technological innovations like ChatGPT, instead of being worried about them, about whether they're going to replace us as writers, I think we should actually embrace them. It's not going to replace us at all, but as an assistant, I mean, this is huge. I mean, as a writer myself, I can't just spend all my time talking to people because they're busy doing their own work. So to actually have this system that I can just ask well-formed, intelligent questions to and actually get good, cogent, sensible and useful responses back is absolutely game-changing. And I hope you find that as well, which is why I wanted to make this course, just to show you some simple examples of how I personally use ChatGPT to help me out as a writer and to help me produce better books. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed the course, and thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy using ChatGPT going forward. I'd be very grateful if you could rate this course. It really helps me out. and leaving a review as well. I'll be incredibly grateful if you could do that and let people know about this course. So bring people in, get them to watch it. With that, thank you very much.